My name is Ella Rusin, and I am a member of Girls Advisory Board. My mom came out as gay this past summer, which is something she had not felt safe in doing until very recently. She grew up in a generation where homophobia was an extremely prevalent norm, even among her parents, who were liberal at the time. She was heavily deprived of the ability to live true to herself for so long, but she raised me differently. I want you to know that you can marry a man or a woman, she told me when I was in kindergarten. Repeat after me. Deconstruct the Disney ideology, she'd say to me during my damsel in distress princess movie phase. I admire my mom so much. She empowered me to stand up for myself and to feel comfortable with whoever I turn out to be. She's provided me with the feminist background I value so heavily in my daily life, and I've made it a goal of mine to carry on her message to younger girls. That's why I chose to join GAB. I want to teach others the importance of gender equality, and I truly want to ingrain in them the importance of using their voices for a cause, for the rights of themselves, and to help others in the need of being spoken up for. I am here today to recognize a girl who exemplifies these traits perfectly. I can't help but admire her impressive qualities and goals in the same way I would a young modern-day Helen Keller. Diagnosed as deaf at 2 days old, she has spent much of her life since advocating for the rights of deaf American citizens on small-scale and statewide levels. It is my honor and privilege to present the Against the Odds Award to Emma Foster.
Wow. Hi, my name is Emma. My last name is Foster, and my sign name is Emma. I'm 18 years old, and I'm deaf, hard of hearing. And first, I wanted to say a big, warm thank you to everyone who's helped to support me through my life. Thank you to all of you who have helped me get to this place, to this award. I was born on January 1st in Bangor, Maine. And before I was born, my parents and my family knew nothing about the deaf community. When I was born deaf, my parents were like just, wow. I mean, it was a big shock for them, it was such a start for them. And the doctors had given me to them, and my mom and dad said, oh, okay, well, we're just supposed to go home and we're going to have a deaf baby girl. And my parents went home with no information other than that. And so they worked so hard. They worked to make sure that I had connections for me in the deaf community. They wanted to make sure that I met people and that they had somebody come into the home every week to teach me ASL. I went to school in Falmouth at Baxter, Maine Educational Deaf Hard of Hearing. And, I matured, and my parents became, more and more, they started to break down the barriers for me. And then when I transferred from the deaf school and I went and I became a mainstream student, that first barrier, oh my goodness, the school told me that they'd have a full-time interpreter. And I showed up, and you know what? There was no interpreter there. And that continued for the next 7 years. But, against those barriers, I continued to succeed in my classes, and I was one of the top students. And the reason was because of the support system that I had at home. My mom was tireless in her effort to teach me every night, what I was supposed to have learned during day school. I was the only deaf student in my school, and, I felt very lonely and sometimes even overwhelmed. But, it wasn't until, I started to connect with, I was the only deaf person in the mainstream program. My mother would drive me to Falmouth weekly, so I would have deaf supports in deaf community. And I didn't have to work 150% to understand what people around me were saying. I felt normal. I was able to raise my hand. I wasn't shy or timid or scared. I was able to be myself. And then also, my parents, they would go to the Maine State House of Representatives. They went many times and presented to the legislation. And I even went, and it was before I was walking that they started to do the political movements. And then they required that all healthcare models in Maine, that they did pre-screening for newborn hearing infants. And then after that, I started to present to the legislature. I was only 6 when I did that. And then recently, in 2016, I joined the Maine State Board Commission for Deaf, Hard of Hearing, and Late Deafened and Blind. And I'm on the board of the Deaf Students Representative. And then recently, last year, I was asked to join the Maine Educational Center for Deaf and Hard of Hearing / the School for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. On top of that, I'm on the board and I sit as the Deaf Student Representative. So wow, both of those opportunities have been such a learning experience for me. To sit alongside my mentors and people who had allowed for me to make a change in my community, it's absolutely amazing. Thank you. Next year, I'm proud to say that I'm going to be going to RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology in New York. I'm going to be doing interior design and architecture. RIT has a deaf campus that's right inside of the RIT larger campus. I am so excited to be back in the deaf community 24/7. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to bring change and to bring what I learned there in New York back to the state of Maine. Thank you.